Welcome to the Platform Podcast. This episode with Tim and Terry is proudly sponsored by Chuck and Big, clothing and promotions company that supports the passion, drive, and determination of all, leaving no stone unturned. You can check them out on Facebook at Chuck, CHUCK, space N, space Big, BIG, on Facebook or their Instagram. This is the Platform Podcast with B-Bad and Brandon.
Wow.
Oh, wait, that was it.
That was it, bro.
I guess it'll sound better on the actual episode, but that was very anticlimactic for us.
Damn.
So, where do we go from there?
What were we doing? Talking about the kilts.
The kilts.
And the level of comfort that's involved.
I want to point out now, if you are listening to this, stop and go watch it.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be a very visual episode, and there's not often you'll see two very large men in kilts drinking beer. Homebrew beer in a gym on a Saturday afternoon. This sounds like a really bad porno.
After that, it makes you wonder why everybody's not wearing a kilt in a gym.
To be honest,
beer on a Saturday afternoon.
That's not a bad Saturday.
Yeah.
That's a fucking...
Look, we know that the airflow right now in this hot gym, it's hitting you guys better than it is us.
Well, it's well and truly
that's why
the boys
with the kilt. You'd be a bit hotter than me.
Yeah, I know.
You've got socks high too. I like that.
So that's the... Oh, for those listening, Terry Sparks, Tim O'Shea, welcome.
Thank you.
Just to get the intro thing, I think they I just assume people know who we're talking about now.
They've been on. We don't need to 21 word them. They know the deal.
Yeah.
They know.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Well, now I want to give you another 21 words.
This is a good beer, mate. It's a good lager.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah, so this lager we're drinking is Tim's homebrew. Sure
Made by Tim.
Made by me, yeah. In my
Tim
shed.
Tim
Made by
Mitch.
me and my son, my
Yeah.
9-year-old.
Yeah.
He gets to do all the hard work except for the bit at the end.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
He gets to mix it and stir it
That
and
you know.
bottle
of.
it.
He might be sneaking to the fridge now. You don't know.
I would not be surprised at all.
So you're running more of a management role there. In the creation of this beer.
Yeah. Supervision and product testing.
Yes.
Do you know? Have you tested the alcohol content? Do you know what it is?
I got no idea what the alcohol content is.
We all just walk
So
out.
when we're driving home, we run the gauntlet.
Look, yeah, I'd probably, if you're drinking by yourself and you got to drive somewhere, I wouldn't be cracking the third tally, let's say.
I got my own one.
Yeah, you fucking do.
I'm glad I just ate before this.
Delicious. How was the brewing process? How long does it take to create this creation?
Oh, well, this stuff's been sitting in the fridge for a while.
Yeah.
So it's been sitting there for a few months. So generally, they say in homebrew, they say that time heals all ills. So if you balls it up, you let it sit for long enough, so it still tastes drinkable.
Yeah.
So yeah, so sit for a couple of weeks in the fermenter. Then it goes. You bottle it, chuck it in the. Well, I like to chuck it in the office. My wife hates it because the place stinks of beer. It sits in the office because it's a reasonably stable temperature. Sits there for 6 weeks or something like that.
Yep.
Chuck it in the fridge and then get through it when I get through it. I've got the fridge in the shed and the gym is full of beer.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love your home gym. It's just getting fucking better and better.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I was up there recently.
Sick invite.
Yeah.
Thanks, Terry.
And you're trying to buy some dumbbells at the moment, I hear, Tim.
So on the way down here, I was a bloke on Marketplace. Marketplace is my friend. I buy everything off Marketplace.
How good is it?
I haven't paid full price for anything, I don't think. And this bloke, I messaged this bloke, these pair of dumbbells. I don't even want to say how cheap they were because
Someone else might
I want to
get
grab them on the way home. These blokes messaged me and said, it was a pair of 42s for $100, which is dirt cheap.
$100 for the pair.
Yeah,
Not
$100
each.
for the pair. So I messaged his old mate and said, hey, can I get these dumbbells? He's messaged me saying, can't hold them, bro. First in, first served. I'm sorry, all right, no worries.
Hold them.
I don't know, because he wanted to be difficult. And so I said, all right, I'll be in it just before lunch tomorrow, today. Or I can be there tomorrow night. Up to you. He goes, can't hold them, bro. First in, first served. Righto, mate. Well, you live at Caboolture. I'll stop there on the way down. He goes, yeah, send me a message and I'll tell you if I still got them. So I sent him a message, driving to Caboolture. Hasn't got back to me. He's seen it. He left me on scene, the prick. And then so I've watched it for a while. Sat in Caboolture outside the train station waiting to get rolled. Messaged the guy again, said, hey, any chance of those dumbbells? Or are they already gone? Just let me know. Sat there for another 15 minutes. Going, fuck it, I've got to go. I've got a commitment here at Fortitude Barbell. It's halfway down to Brisbane, my phone beeps. Still available, bro. I'm like, oh, go fuck yourself, seriously.
I've never actually seen Tim triggered. And he walks in the door here and he's triggered by the traffic because he lives out in the bush now. He's triggered by the dumbbells. It's something I've never seen
wound
before.
He's wound up.
This is the most tense Tim we've seen.
Yeah.
It
I
is.
put the kilt on that. I've calmed right down.
Can you please buy the dumbbells with the kilt on?
Oh, no, I had some shorts on.
But
But
can you go
when
back?
you go there, can you rock up with what you're wearing now?
Normally when I go to a comp, when I go to Highland Games, I'll put the kilt on in the morning and take it off that night. So if we go to McDonald's afterwards, we go for a beer afterwards, whatever else, I've still got the kilt on.
Fucking exceptional. So I reckon with the kilt, you can get these dumbbells for 80.
Maybe.
Unless he bends over, then it's
don't know.
going up in price.
I don't know. You see me bend over?
All down.
Yeah.
So you get changed. It was good.
I'm not that poor. I can just come up with $100. I don't need to pimp myself out.
So tell us about the kilts. Is there a story behind these? Is there some meaning or history behind these? Or
Because you have to wear them to compete in the Highland Games.
What's the go there?
You
with
do.
them?
You have to wear them. Yeah.
Right.
This is a family kilt. So this is my grandmother's family, the Robertson clan.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
so down my father's line is Sparks, which is an English name, but my father's mother is Scottish,
Right.
and right through there. So the Robertson clan, it's a very big clan in Scotland, and that's the. So I did Ancestry.com probably last year or the year before, and the thing I like the most about it is they give you a percentage of where you're from or where your bloodline's from throughout the world. And there was a fair bit of Scottish there, which was great because it kind of, to me, it justified me doing the Highland Games. And all around that Celtic region, like Ireland and even a bit of Wales, you know, that's that Celtic blood and that sort of thing. But it's pretty cool. There's a lot of history there and that sort of thing. But yeah, so this is a Robertson kilt. And the good thing is when I started doing games in this, you know, my old man was sending the emails around to the family and that sort of thing. They were pretty happy. So, yeah.
It's cool. So
Would you rock up to a comp and you'd see another Robinson kilt?
I
at all,
don't
or-
think they're pretty. There are people who get around that have an eye for the tartans.
Yep.
Like there's some really, not even just old people, but there's people who study the clans and that sort of things,
Yeah.
and they could come up and go, "That's a Robertson kilt.
Right.
That's a McDonald kilt. That's
so each kilt's specific to that
for a
family.
clan, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And more so than that, they'll turn around and go, that's a Robertson kilt from the modern version of the tartan or the
Yeah.
earlier version of the tartan or
Yeah.
whatever else. Like, people are right into it.
Yeah.
And it's a
Wow.
big deal for them as well.
Yeah. See, that's the other thing too. Like, you got to be careful. I didn't actually know too much about it until a few years ago, and I was talking to Mason Douglas, and he'd done some Highland Games stuff over New Zealand, and in New Zealand the Scottish culture is obviously a lot bigger than it is over here, and the etiquette, there's a lot of etiquette in Highland Games, like not just out in the field, but the way you conduct yourself around it and that sort of thing as well. And you can't just go wearing kilts whenever you want. It's from what I've understand, it can be a bit disrespectful.
Yep.
So you can't just go, I'm going to wear a kilt today and go get on the piss with your mates down the pub. Well, you can't. It's a little bit disrespectful. There's certain occasions where you wear them.
Right.
Yeah, wow.
So the Highland Games, correct me if I'm wrong. There's a lot. Obviously, like anything, a lot more history to it than what than you just see guys, competing.
Well, the Highland Games pretty much predates all the string sports that we know.
Really?
So
wow.
yeah. So I mean, shot put in the Olympics. The history of that is obviously they're throwing rocks. That's exactly
Yep.
what we do in the Highland Games. Your
You
stone
guys are
puts
throwing
and stuff
rocks,
like that. Yeah. And the story goes that I can't remember what the bloke's name is. The bloke that started the first modern Olympics.
Yep.
The story is that he watched the Highland Games, and that's where he got the idea to actually roll in like a multi-sport event like the Olympics when he rolled on to have the 1896 Athens,
Yep.
first of the new modern Olympic Games. So it's got history going a long way past before that.
Yeah, centuries. Centuries.
So
yeah.
what are the events in a traditional Highland Games?
Is there traditional events or
Yeah,
does
so
it
there's
change
eight-
up a bit like
There's
strongman?
8 standard events,
Yeah.
being there's 2 hammer throws,
Yep.
normally a 16 and a 22-pound hammer, and they differ from the Olympic hammer in that they've got a like a rattan or a bamboo handle, and you stand there and spin it around your head, throw it backwards.
And that timber's pretty special too. I've tried to replicate that for a training implement.
Yep.
And I can't get a timber that doesn't snap.
Yep.
I've tried unseasoned pine, seasoned pine, everything just snaps.
Yep.
But is it rattan or
Rattan,
rattan?
rattan, yeah.
It's a flexible, really durable timber. Obviously, it's from northern UK, obviously, but
Yeah, I guess so. You got those. You got 2 weight throws for distance, a 28 and a 56 pound. There, you spin around twice and throw it, sort of like a discus out of a square trig, I guess. but a lot heavier. 56 pounds, 25 kilos.
Yeah. Really just about rips your shoulder out of its socket.
Yeah. You've got a weight for height, a 56-pound weight for height. You throw it over a bar.
Wow.
You've got two stone puts. You've got an open stone, which is you'd recognise as a shot put. You know, the difference is you have a square trig rather than a circle. And then you get a Bramer stone or a heavy stone put, which is a standing stone put, generally about 22 or 28 pounds or something like that. But obviously the river stones, they change.
Yep.
And then there's a ninth, a caber, which is the big pole that everyone recognises. And the final event that you'll see in Highland Games, but isn't actually a Highland Game event, is the sheaf toss. And that's a 16 or 20 pound sack full of straw. You throw with a pitchfork over a bar.
I've seen that.
And they're real particular about it, that it's not a Highland Games event, it's an agricultural show event, but we put it in Highland Games. So it's a funny one. It's a shit event.
Yeah.
It's a shit event. Nobody likes it.
I like it.
Terry's pretty good at everything, so he likes everything.
I just like the vertical events.
Yeah.
So there you go.
What was you say? What was your first exposure to Highland Games, Tim? Because I know you've been doing it a bit longer than Terry's done.
Yeah. So 2010, I think.
Yeah.
So my background is strongman.
Yeah.
I did a show down in Wollongong, and it was, as it happened, it was a 2-day show. Strongman on day 1, Highland Games on day 2.
Oh.
So most of the events I hadn't touched.
Yep.
And it was, to be fair, it was actually closer to being a Highlander than a Highland Game. Highlander is sort of a combination of strongman and Highlands. So strongman on day 1, and came out and did the Highland on day 2. First time I put my hands on a caber, first time I threw a stone, was all in front of a crowd at the Wollongong show. So it was a bit of an introduction there, and I've just sort of stayed involved with it ever since.
Was it just through Strongman you found it, sorry?
Yeah.
Right.
Went to that show, the show down there that Rock Solid Strongman back then ran. Yeah. That was basically, if you want to compete, you've got to do both days. You've got to do a Highland Games day. So I can figure it out. How hard can it be?
Wow. And was
how
there
hard
much
was it?
talk of Highland Games or anything like back then? Was there much exposure to around here? Was many people doing it?
Well, not in Queensland.
Yeah.
There's nothing really in Queensland. Like, we did a show in Ipswich 2 years ago.
That was good. That was a really good show.
Yeah.
But that's only because the boys from down south came up and put the show on.
Yeah,
There's not much up here. There's nothing up here. But down there, what do you reckon, around the Hunter Valley region, that sort of stuff, and in Victoria?
Around there, around Victoria and stuff like that. And logically, if you look at it, that's where the Scots settled, and they ran their Highland festivals. And a lot of the games, like Geelong Highland Games is 150 years old. I think the Maryborough Highland Games on New Year's Day is about 150 years old. A few of the Kiwi games, the Waipu Games, is similar age. Like, they've been around for a long time, probably longer than any sporting event in the country. Longer than the NRL's been around, or like rugby league as a sport and stuff like that.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Wow. Jeez, that's amazing.
And so it's really, Victoria, New South Wales, and New Zealand is the circuit, I suppose. And,
and the Kiwi games are awesome, eh?
Yeah.
Because you guys went over there, hey?
Well, yeah, but when you look at the South Island of New Zealand, that's where a lot of the Scots settled.
Yeah.
And the Scottish culture, even though there's been generations of people born there, they still hold true their Scottish traditions and their Scottish culture. So when there's an event, it's a big deal.
Yeah, right.
So the Horrorata Games, which is Terry won it.
Yep.
The last proper international Horrorata Games in 2019. There's they get 10 to 12,000 people through. It hasn't been going that long. It's the Oceania Championships. They started it after the Christchurch earthquakes.
Yeah.
And they ran it to. They wanted to run an event to try and put a new roof on their stone church.
Yep.
And they raised that, and I've heard they make something like $100,000 per year overall. Like the Selwyn Community Trust that runs it.
Wow.
They're basically people work on it all year round to have this massive event. Like I said, 10,000 people turn up, and it's like nothing you've seen in strength sports over here, right?
No, unbelievable. Yeah.
That's incredible.
I remember looking around at one stage when we were competing. Might have been when the Stones were on, which was the last event of the day, and everyone was watching. Hey, even the farmers carry.
Yep.
The farmers walk. You're only 5 meters away from the fence, but behind the fence, there's just so many people.
Yep.
Just
Screaming, yelling.
We're Aussie, so we probably get a bit of lip. So
yep. And not just that, the farmers walk they do there, like they do a couple of extra events there just for the crowd.
Yeah.
So the farmers walk's quite light. It's only, I think, 100 kilos per hand or 110 per hand or something like that.
Only.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
100,
But I mean, by strongman standards, it's light. So it's like
Yeah.
I think it's 60 meters. You get 30 up, 30 back.
Yeah.
As Terry said, you're one step out from the crowd, and you got on your shirt if you're an Aussie or a Kiwi.
Yeah.
So they know if you're an Aussie, and
They
you're
ripping
running.
into you a
And
bit?
there'll always be somebody have a tumble, So
Yeah.
don't let it be me have a tumble this year. They love giving the Aussies a hard time.
Yeah, I had to tumble over the finish line.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but I tumbled over the finish line and through the logs, and they were sort of looking at it going, oh. But lucky Paddy was there, and he said, no, it's all right.
Wow. Paddy Hellier runs it. Patrick Hellier.
Yeah.
He's a 14 times New Zealand champion in Highland Games.
Yep.
Top bloke, great bloke. He now runs the games.
Yep.
But to be honest, I reckon Paddy could turn out tomorrow and beat 99% of the athletes doing Highland Games. He's still the man. Yeah.
That's unreal. And internationally, the sport must be pretty big, obviously, over through Scotland and everything like that. It'd be massive, right?
Yeah. It's massive in Scotland. Is it big in the US?
Yep.
Really big in the US. So the US has weight classes and masters divisions and everything else, like the US likes to do.
Yep.
Scotland is just straight out. It's the Highland Games, and they'll do a couple of weeks. They have the Games Week, which in true Scottish form runs for a couple of weeks. They have games. Every village will have its own games, and apparently
they've got a proper circuit, and I've had a look at some of the results of those things, and people come from all over Europe to do those games.
Yep.
Some of the names are Serbian, all that sort of thing, and they come in. And they just go around. You know? Obviously, the Bremer Games I think are the biggest, huge. Like,
holy fuck. Well, the Bremer Games is the Queen's game.
Yes.
So the Queen comes and watches it.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to actually be a shit games to do, apparently, because everything's to look good for the Queen. So, but it's prestigious, It's people want to win Bremer because you get presented to the Queen and whatever else, and But they reckon that the theory is over there because there's so many games every day that when you go over there to compete on Games Week, you find out, because traditionally you don't sign up as such. You turn up in the day and say, I'm competing, right?
Oh.
And so the idea is you find out where the pros are going and you go somewhere else. so you go off and you get a bit of prize money and whatever else, and that'll pay for your accommodation for the next 2 days.
And then move on to
find
the
out where the pros are going the next day and go somewhere else again.
Fucking. So how did you get into it, Terry? How did you stumble across it?
The first one I actually did, I think, was more of a Highlander event, which was 2017 after Pro Raw. I did Pro Raw, and then I think a few weeks later, Mark Wells had like a Highlander event, and like Tim was saying before, a Highlander is more it's
more strongman.
It's got throwing in it, but it's more strongman. Like we had a few stone carries and that sort of thing, but they did have throws. They did have a weight over bar, and they did have 2 stone throws, and they had some good strongmen there actually. Like they had some guys who had actually competed at Arnold's a few weeks before, but in the strongman.
Yep.
And that was a good day. Mark, he put on a good comp. I won that just mainly because of the stone throws and the weight over bar. A couple of the smaller guys hit me on the stone carries. Like one of them was 131 kilo. I think it was just for distance, up and back until you're done.
Yeah.
Wow, that's brutal.
Oh, Lee Shaw, that's right. You know Lee Shaw?
Yeah.
Yeah, he went for 90 something metres. Yep. And I was down I think I came third at about 60 metres in that particular event. And then fast forward a couple of years, because they didn't have anything on up here, but then Tim told me that the boys from down south were going to put a show on up here.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, count me in, because it was straight after Nationals.
In 2018?
2019.
Right. Or you won?
No, I didn't. So
No, Nationals.
Oh, the Nationals I won, yeah.
Won that.
That one.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
Watching it.
You went 900, remember?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And then you retired for some reason.
Yeah, because I don't like bench pressing.
Because it's hard to go 900.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard to go.
You went 900 on like 7 lifts.
7 lifts, yeah.
Remember the time?
I'm confident if you go 900, Brandon, you'll retire that day too.
If I ever get to 900, if the body doesn't break, I will probably retire. Because let's be real, nothing's getting better than that.
And then, so after that, I'd already signed up for that. I was like, it's going to be a hard gig. Because the turnaround was literally, I think it was 6 days. I think we came back from Adelaide, because Nats was at Adelaide. And then we had 6 days. Yeah, we did. That's exactly what happened. I remember having 6 days because I was like, what am I going to do? I hadn't done any throwing or anything. And they put on a really good games at a proper Highland. It was a proper Highland Games, wasn't it?
Yeah.
At Ipswich. And the boys from Highland Muscle came up and put on a really good show. I had a ball. That was the thing. It was so much fun. I could not do another one after that, And
good group of lads all ripping in together.
Yeah. And there's good, it's good camaraderie, good banter.
Yeah.
I don't think we had a whiskey that day, but usually you have a whiskey halfway through the comp.
Really?
Yeah, well, just before you throw the caber.
So you get the caber out, and traditionally the caber gets light out and you christen the caber. So you'll have that. Somebody will bring out, and normally somebody will splurge for a really nice bottle of whiskey,
Yeah.
which is completely wasted on me because I'm a fucking Luddite.
Yeah.
But they'll come out and everyone will take a shot of whiskey, have a shot of whiskey and put the rest on the caber.
Yeah.
So, just what you want. You've been out in the sun for 6 hours, you just have a shot of whiskey and then go do something athletic straight afterwards,
And one thing I noticed too about Highland Games is you don't really get a chance to have a feed.
Yep.
I think in the Horrada they give you a ticket for a pie because the Horrada pies sponsor the event.
Yeah, right.
So in between, they're like, hurry up, you pretty much got 10 minutes, go and smash a pie.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much your sustenance for the whole day. You've been out in the sun all day and a whiskey.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good nutritional advice there. Good
Yeah.
intra-training model.
Yeah.
Pie and whiskey.
But
Does the whiskey hit you?
you know what it
You
did.
feel booze, but it doesn't really hydrate you that well.
I do remember it draws you out a bit. Like you do feel a bit dried out. You're like, oh, that's the last thing I needed. But
They went all right. That's how tonight's going to go.
oh yeah, I remember over in Horrada, a couple of the boys because you're playing for sheep stations over there. Like there's prize money. It's a big event. All your accommodations paid for. Yeah, they make a big
good
deal.
prize money.
It's great prize money. Yeah, and
So, like talking thousands.
Yeah, and it was good the year I won it because the conversion rate was pretty good. So, so when I put it back in Aussie money, it was still all right. I think it was 1,500, which is good for a weekend.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant. The weekend with the boys throwing some things around.
Well, not just
a bit
that,
of whiskey.
but Horrada in particular, I'll talk up because I've been to a lot of games. And Horrada, you fly in, they pick you up from the airport, and as it is, they pick you up in a Rolls. Did you get the Rolls?
I was with you in the car.
Yeah. You picked up in a Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
By a bloke called Stephen, who's just a local bloke who happens to own a Rolls Royce.
And loves fucking Highland Games or something.
Yeah, well, no, everyone in the community does it. They've got 200 people live in Horrada.
Yep.
And they get 800 volunteers to games. So do the sums on that, And but you picked up there, you get put up, like you literally don't get your wallet out of your pants all weekend.
No, you don't.
And you get there, like beers in the fridge. Yep, no worries. You straight on the beers as soon as you get beautiful farmhouse stays.
Oh,
This farm too, by the way, it's more like a bed and breakfast. So you get your own room. Well, I got my own room, with an ensuite and everything.
Yeah, they all
and
are. Yeah.
out the window is Alps covered in snow.
wow.
The mountains covered in snow. That's what I was.
This is, I'm not gonna lie, this just sounds like Terry's home.
Oh,
I just feel like you would thrive.
Oh, it was beautiful. Like I was literally lying in bed looking out the window at snow-covered mountains.
I just feel like you belong
shit.
in the mountains.
It was so cool.
and then after the event, you finish up. Our heavies have to go to the VIP tent, so you go straight to the VIP tent. You start smashing the beers because they want you to be there, And you do this, and then the next day they normally take you around and show you around and say, "Oh, we'll take you." Yeah, they've got a private ski field up there. Take you up to the ski field, have a look up there, or whatever else. And then the whole time they're going, "Thanks so much for coming over. We appreciate you." Go, that's been pretty good, to be honest.
do you know how I missed out in the VIP tent? I think I had one whiskey with him and then left. I had to catch a plane straight back to Brisbane at 5 a.m. the next morning. So I went back to Christchurch straight away, and they put me up in this hotel. It was a lovely hotel, and I thought, I'd just done the games all day. I was hungry. I wanted to have a beer, and so I got room service, and I got some lamb shanks, and I
You got a Terry feed.
Yeah, I got a big feed. And
It was like when we went to Brecky Creek the other week.
Yeah, I got a big feed, and I thought I'll get some piss as well. So I think I had about 5 IPAs, and I had some wines and whiskies come up too. Went down the next morning, just as I'm checking out. They said, "Yep, your room service comes to." I think it was over $100, well over $100. It's a beauty. I paid for it. Got on the plane, went back to Brisbane. A couple of days later, it got put back into my bank account. So I'm pretty sure they covered it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep. It doesn't surprise me at all.
No.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a fucking sport to be a part of.
I'm just more. You spent over $100 on room service on yourself.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
He's a hungry man.
Local lamb shanks, mate. New Zealand lamb, beautiful.
Wow. So what's your favourite event to do in there out of all those?
So I think Tim likes caber, don't you?
Caber, you're definitely caber for me. For 2 reasons. One, I enjoy turning a caber.
Yeah.
But 2, it's the event that everyone wants to see. But when you get there,
It's
it's
an
normally the 6th or
exciting
7th
thing
event,
to
and they
look.
normally, most of the big comps try and have that about lunchtime.
Yep.
Because people go do their other stuff. Well, there's lots of other stuff happening.
Yeah.
In Horrada, they have a pistol shooting competition.
Yeah.
They have the kilted mile, where everyone does a race in a kilt and drink its pies and whatever else. But they have events going all day. But everyone stops for lunch, comes over to watch the caber.
Yeah.
And Yeah, so I think it's cool. And all day people be asking, when's the caber, when's the caber? And every old bloke there remembers when he turned cabers himself in Scotland, even though he's never has, you know. But, it's the quintessential event.
Yeah, they're full of shit, aren't
they? Yeah.
How hard is it to get it to flip, to get it over?
Depends how big it is.
Yeah. How heavy are they?
They're not that heavy.
Right,
Like-
it's just the awkwardness of a...
So the way caber works, right? You normally have 3 cabers. You normally have a qualifying caber, and you've got to turn that to move on. Then you have the games caber, and the way it's scored, you've got to turn it over on itself, so it's got to land end first, turn over, and then it's clock face. 12 o'clock's perfect turn,
Must go
5-2,
straight.
5 pass. Yeah. And so you get scored on, not how far, but on the actual direction. And then you obviously get your winner and second, third, fourth, whatever, based on that. Then anyone who turns it gets an opportunity to turn the games caber. And the challenge caber. And the challenge caber, traditionally, it doesn't count towards scoring, but it's normally a caber that nobody's turned, or maybe one person turned 10 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
And there's normally a big cash prize on the nose. And very rare to see it get turned. But I saw Scott Martin, who's actually a Commonwealth Games gold medalist in the discus, turn the games, a challenge caber in Port Stephens a few years back.
Oh, yeah.
Nearly put it over the fence. There's people sitting there just landing against the fence, but he turned it. And he got that cash
It's
prize.
deceiving, though. Like they'll say to you, first time I walked up to a caber, I said, how much does that weigh? I think it was 70 kilos or something. It was something like that, isn't
Yeah.
it? But when you actually get in your hands,
And 70 kilos is 20 feet away from you up there.
yeah, it's
But-
just the way the leverages work and where the centre of gravity is. If you got a breeze or something, it just pulls you every which way, and it's a lot. You can be really, really, really strong bloke, and it's just an absolute nightmare. It just pull you this way, that way, and you saw the video of Tim having a slip. Like, that was a good result, because one thing they tell you, if you're losing the caber, like if you're losing control, bail, just get out of there.
Because it can come back on you.
It's dangerous, because when it bounces, it can flick anywhere, and that's a lot of timber to hit you.
I'm literally just...
But even when it gets away from your shoulder, if it comes back, it smashes collarbones. It comes away from your shoulder, comes straight back into your collarbone, So, and that's what you see novices, when they get out there for the first time, they'll do it, they'll lose it a bit, and they go, whoa, and everyone's going, drop it. And it's not because, and they think they're being the tough guy to try and control it. You go, no, it's just dumb, you're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah, it's a lot of timber to... Like, you could easily snap arms, legs.
yeah.
Man, imagine if it hit you in the head. You'd be just...
Well, I just watched the video you just posted, and you just take a full slip.
Yeah, well, it was wet, and my foot slipped out from under me, and my
So
other
you're
knee came
running...
up under me.
So you're running forward with it and then just launching it.
So you run pretty much fast as you can, carrying that piece, that input.
Big awkward
And then
thing.
you stop abruptly, and then obviously the weight of it starts falling forward, and as soon as it starts falling, you pull it up.
You try and...
Yeah. And so obviously on the wet field there, I've tried to stop, and my foot instead of stopping just kept going.
Right.
And of course, if that caber had come down on my legs or on my head or anything else, I've had the presence of mind to sort of shift it to the side.
Yeah. Well, the
And
worst
not
thing's the bounce, I think, because it gets a lot of flick.
Spring.
Yeah, a lot of spring.
How do you train for something like that?
Turn cabers.
Turn cabers. Is there a caber shop you can buy a caber from?
Tim's got about 40,000 cabers in his backyard. they're just still on the ground.
Just waiting on a bloke with a chainsaw.
Okay, you'd
That's
have a
all they
chainsaw.
would have been back
Hey,
in the
you
day.
have a
Isn't it? Just
chainsaw?
a big long tree.
That's all they are now.
Yeah.
There's nothing special about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just a big tree that's been selected. Like in Australia, you often find their gum or something like that because pine isn't actually that good for cabers because it does snap eventually, whereas gum and things like that seem to last a lot better. Got some old iron bark ones.
You got to keep them really moist.
Yep.
You got to keep the oil up to them and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They start to dry out. They get brittle.
Yeah.
I made one. I snapped it straight away.
Yeah.
But
So-
you are Big Terry.
No, it's just I wasn't very good at making them.
Yeah.
What'd you make there?
It was pine. It was a season pine log, and I learned quickly after that. After I did some research, is don't use seasoned timber because it's dry.
It's also luck of the draw. You'll see a caber that's 20 years old and it's been fine and just goes. Yeah. Other cables will come out first time it's turned. It'll go. Depending where the weaknesses are in the wood and the
You
weak
don't know
spots,
till you
whatever.
flip it.
There's actually there's an important guy to mention with Highland Games in Australia. It's Craig Reed. So Craig Reed is a multiple-time Australian champ. He's competed overseas, competed in the US, competed in Scotland. But he's most important person in Australian strength sports, I reckon, that you've never heard of. A lot of people have never heard of the guy. But he's got under his house, he's got quite a bit of strength equipment that he's collected over the years from really big stuff. And he always says, none of this is mine, I'm just a custodian of the next generation. But one thing he's got in particular, he's got a caber that was cut in Bremer in 1906.
Wow.
And it was shipped out to Australia in the 70s. They used it at Bremer all that time. And then they decided to cut a new caber at Braemar. Then it was used in Australia for 20 years or something after that. Like the Braemar committee wanted to grow Highland Games over here. And it was used for about 20 years here. And I think Craig's probably the only person around who's turned it that could still turn it, you know what I mean? But now it's pretty beat up now. It'll never be turned again. Yep. But he's just got it under his house, you know? And you can tell he's the sort of guy, he can tell you everything about it, he can tell you every person who's turned it and everything else. You know, and he just says, I'm just mining it for the next generation. So stuff like that.
The funny thing about Craig is when we went to East Coast Championships last year, this is down in Port Stephens, was near Newcastle. He's the judge of the event, so he's watching everything. And he's still the biggest guy there. Yep. His shoulders, he's just enormous, and he's big, huge calves, man. Yep. And I learned quickly after that he was a really good strongman, hey? Yeah, because he used to have the Weet-Bix series.
The Weet-Bix Super Series. He competed against all the, Magnus Ver Magnusson and Magnus Samuels, all those guys. For people who don't know, there was a big series in Australia. Those guys all came. And David Huxley brought everyone out. And they competed across in Australia. All these top guys at the time, like Sven Carlson, I think, came out, and Jamie Young, all these guys, but Craig, Derek Boyer, those guys, Joe Quigley, all these Australian guys competed over there, competed in Australia in this professional series. And it's a lot of people will tell you that that's what brought professionalism to strongman, because all of a sudden these guys were really looked after. They brought over here and paid their way. And Grant Edwards is the other one. He's the federal police commissioner. Then also he was a strongman. He competed in that Weet-Bix Super Series.
There's been quite a few Olympic athletes that venture over to Highland Games as well.
Really?
Yeah, shot putters, discus throwers, those sort of things. Yeah, hammer throwers as well. Yep. Yeah. So I think currently Scotty Martin's probably still having a crack. Yep. He won the gold in the Commonwealth Games in 2006 for the discus.
Yep.
Wow. I think he's a multi-Olympian, isn't he?
He's a couple of Olympics, and he's actually the head shotput coach of the RAS now.
Yeah. I think you'll see Jacko Gill probably have another crack now that COVID's on.
Kiwi
I wouldn't be surprised if Horada's on this year that he'll be down. And Jacko Gill, he was the Wonder Kid a couple of years ago. Like, he was just destined to break the world record. He was throwing 4 kilo shot puts, like 25 metres when he was like 15, 16. And he could bench press 190 kilos when he was in like grade 11.
Jesus.
And at a home gym.
That's what throwers do, hey? That is ridiculously strong. Yeah.
Mate, I remember seeing videos of him in grade 11, and he's got 190 kilos on the bench press. Just close grip. The technique's not really fantastic. No spot or anything. He unracks it. 16 years old. Does a double. And the kid is so athletic. Like, he was at school on someone's video, and he's jumping from table to table, and the tables are like 6 metres apart. Just so athletic.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, so he had a fair bit of time off. I think he was injured or something like that, but he's back now, and blokes like him and
Damien Birkenhead. Yeah. So he threw. I threw against him in Geelong. I think 2 weeks before he threw at the Commonwealth Games. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the AIS doesn't know he threw in Geelong.
They would not be happy. But yeah, there's a lot of current
sanctioned event.
Well, yeah. But he came on. It's just a bit of prize money. He's not going to get prize money for throwing in whatever he made from Geelong. Obviously, he was peaked for the Commonwealth Games. He threw pretty well.
Yeah, that's right. And so that's some of those guys come across and have a crack.
Yeah.
And obviously the stone throwing events is just theirs. They just smoke everyone.
They just know how to throw.
Oh yeah, that's
well, the stone throw events, but throwers are balanced, So the other, even though they haven't touched the other implements, they still throw them well.
Yeah,
they're balanced.
Well, that's the thing too about when you look at it. When you look at an Olympic shot putter, a lot of people look at them and go, "Oh, you those fat pricks,"
Yeah.
Like, people don't realise how strong and fast that guy is, and a lot of training that goes into those throwers is sprinting. They're actually really fast guys. It might be 130 kilos. They probably bench press 200. They got to get through that ring really quick. Yeah, they're just big athletes.
Yeah.
They're just really big athletes. And I remember back when I was doing a bit of shot put in 2010, just after I stopped playing rugby league, I had a coach all the way over at Mount Gravatt at QE2 there, and he had a young fella who was he was only 18, and he was being a naughty boy that day. He went in the QAS that's right next to the track. Because he was supposed to be out there doing techniques. He's going, I bet you he's in the gym again. And he went in there, and he was doing a squat session with the current Olympian thrower at the time, which was Justin Enlazark, and they're having a squat session. to see who the strongest was. And he said, I ripped him out of that squat rack. And they had, at that stage, they'd just put 310 on the bar, and they both had bare knees. And they both only had belts on. They were squatting 300 plus with bare knees.
Fucking hell. Just savages.
Well, he said if I hadn't have gone and stopped them, they would have just kept going until
one of them couldn't get the bar back up.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane.
That's one of the reasons why Highland Games is massive in the US now, is because you've got a whole generation of collegiate athletes that have thrown in D1 schools and are, for all purposes, at the level of professional throwers, may or may not go to the Olympics, don't make the Olympics. They go up and go, hang on, I can use this skill and actually earn some money in Highland Games, you know? So all of a sudden you get a whole generation of really good throwers entering the Highland Games, which is great for the sport.
Yeah, very athletic people.
Not so good for people like me that can't actually throw.
Fuck.
What's stopping it from becoming so much more mainstream? Or do you think it is starting to get that traction now?
I don't know if everyone wants it to be mainstream.
But why? Like I kind of refer to Tim as like the walking encyclopedia of strength sports, but like there's not much in the way of strength sports that is mainstream. Like powerlifting's kind of getting to it now. Strongman's probably the most mainstream thanks to big personalities like your Thors and your Eddie Halls, but this shit's fucking exciting.
Yeah.
I don't understand how it's not.
It's one of those things you have to try till you appreciate it.
Right.
When I first tried, I went, I'll give it a go. And then after the day, I was like, man, that was cool. I want to do that every day of the week. Yeah. And plus, it's usually a cultural event too.
Right.
Usually, or some of the time, the Highland Games is teamed up with like a pipe band championship. So there used to be bagpipes going all day.
Yeah,
so there'll be bagpipe. What are they? They're not called bands, are they? What are they called? I don't know.
No, they're bands. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there'll be one from Canberra. There'll be one from Wagga or something like that, and they'll all come. The one at Ipswich last year, they would have had, I don't know, at least 30 different type.
Really?
From all different places, yeah.
And the Kiwis bring in like international band leaders and I don't know what they're called, the pace sticks that they throw up in the air and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they bring in like international champions and stuff. Like here's a guy from Wales who's an international champion of this, so we brought him out for the event because these guys are a big deal, you know.
Yeah, it's a culture event.
Yeah.
You can usually get some haggis. They got Scottish food, that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if you've had. Have you had haggis?
Nah.
Yeah.
I don't think I have.
It's
oats and offal, mate. It's awesome.
Oh, really?
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Should've
I don't mind it. Do you like it?
I don't mind it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you had it?
What do you have it with?
You're supposed to have it with. You're supposed to have it with like mashed potato and things. I prefer it just with toast, to be honest.
Yeah.
Have it on some toast, just
I'd
like
eat
mince.
Yeah.
Because it is. It's awful. Like it's.
What is haggis again?
Well, it's
Organ meat, bro.
Yeah.
It's
organ.
right.
The bits no one else wants.
Yep. Pretty much.
And I think it's actually cooked in a sheep's belly, like they
Yeah,
use
something like that, isn't it?
They stuff the sheep's belly with it and cook it that way.
Yeah.
I
Boil
should
it
probably.
up.
But it's alright. It's just
Probably
meat.
don't sound like
Yeah, it's
idiots.
all meat, right?
Yeah.
What? Hey Siri,
Delicious.
what is haggis?
Haggis.
Yeah, no one can hear that. So
I heard the word sheep.
haggis is a savoury pudding containing sheep's pluck minced with. Shut up. Onion, oatmeal. I can't even pronounce that. Spices and salt mixed with stock and cooked while traditionally encased in the animal's stomach.
Oh, I said in the first place it was offal and oats. That's pretty much what it is.
What do they say? Sheep's pluck. Is that what they said?
Sheep's
Yeah.
guts.
No, she said sheep's pluck, but I don't know what the fuck that is.
That with anything. And that with the beer, you'd be laughing.
Yeah.
Like Terry said, it's actually all right. If you can get past what it is, that's why I think
Yeah.
it turns people off. It actually tastes all right.
Well, I bought some for the family last year, and I didn't tell them what it was. So, because we're on the way down to Coolangatta, we're on the way to our family holiday, and on the highway, just on the highway at Logan there's Sid's Pies, and Sid's Pies have just British food. You can get British chips and all that sort of. You can get pork pies and things like that, and they have a pretty good haggis there. So I bought it and I cooked it up, and I just told the kids it was like savoury mince, and the kids are into it, and they're like, oh, and they didn't mind it.
Did you give them the lowdown at the end?
Until Melanie told them what it was. and then all of a sudden they stopped.
Right.
So I pretty much ate the whole thing. Like even my old man would eat steak that's 3 weeks old and it's green, you know, but he won't eat haggis.
Yeah, right.
See where you get the manliness from, which astounds me.
So how do you train for something like this? Like other than the implements, what are you guys doing in the weights room?
I think strength helps a lot.
Yeah.
And I've noticed I don't think I'm influencing too many people, but I've noticed since I've gone in and done okay, just on the back of good strength.
Yep.
I've noticed a few of the other boys have really picked up their strength training.
Yeah.
You're watching their videos and that, and back in the day they were concentrating a lot on their throws and their techniques, and now you can see they're really stacking some weight on the bar.
Yep. The old TST 900. It's top set Terry method.
It helps. Like if you, I think I did a bit of research on Spencer Toll the other day, he's the man in the world at the moment.
Spencer Tolley.
He's got most of the world records. I think he's 6'7" and about 180 kilos or something like that, and moves like a ballerina.
So I was doing hang snatches in the gym the other day with like 80 kilos. Spencer Toll will do a hang snatch with 140 kilos. You know, he's
and they probably
just,
move quick.
He's just an athlete. And
he threw the 56-pound weight for distance 52 feet, which is 10 feet over what people were throwing at 10 years ago.
That's the other thing I had to get used to. Like in Highland Games, everything's in feet and inches.
Oh, that's an adjustment.
really?
Which I didn't think anyone used now, unless you're measuring your dick. But that's about
Terry
it.
measures his dick in feet and inches.
No, just inches.
Can we just get a look-see at that? Lift up that kilt.
I'll need some time to get some blood into it first. so yeah, feet and inches. And
Are we still talking about your dick?
no.
All right.
No. So, and then you go back over New Zealand, they're back in metres again. In
the
metric.
Kiwis use metric. I think that's Pat's trying to
So
drag.
it does your head in a little bit. But I got used to the feet and inches.
Yeah.
I
It
got
stuffs
used-
you when you go over to New Zealand, doesn't it?
Yeah, I actually, if I'm training now and I measure in feet and inches.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Because you can compare it to what the Americans are doing and or whatever else is happening around the place.
And the Scots are doing.
Yeah, yes.
Have you kind of seen where you place roughly on an international scale?
Oh, mate, as far as hammer throwing goes, not very good. My vertical throws, that go all right. They go okay, especially the weight over bar. I think Hapthor's had a crack at a weight over bar, and I think he got 20 feet, didn't he?
He got a bit over 20 feet, I think.
But that's fresh. That's fresh as an exhibition throw.
So normally weight over bar is done your final event, it's your ninth event of the day, you know.
Yeah,
so
pretty cooked.
You're pretty beat up, you're sunburnt, you've had your whiskey, and your hands are shredded and stuff like that. So
How long do the days usually go for?
a full day.
Yeah.
Start throwing at 8 and this is 5 p.m, you know, you're doing the weight over bar.
Jesus.
Yeah, and you haven't eaten much. It's
Pie and some whiskey.
pie and some whiskey or some packet of chips or something like that. But so at the end of the day, you're cooked. It's basically heaven in the bag of cement, and it's got a handle attached to it, and you've got to throw it as high as you can over a bar.
What was your highest?
My highest is 17 feet.
Wow.
Fuck, that's
Yeah. So
fucking big.
I think that's about my only throw that I could say would be up near world class. I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I have had a look at some of the guys on the Scottish tour, and 15, 16, 17 is very rare.
Fuck.
But it chops and changes. The thing with Highland Games is the implements change at every event, so it's really hard to compare. Because you might have a nice round ball with a nice handle that you're throwing somewhere. The next one might be a off-shape scale weight with 2 links of a chain that you're throwing, and so everything's a bit different. So it's actually hard to compare weights in different places. Like the stone puts, river stones. So Pyroa, which is the North Island Games in New Zealand, it's like a strepsil. The shape of the stone there, it's a completely different shape. Whereas and then Craig's game, he's got what's the heavy stone there? It's,
the East Coast Stone.
East Coast Stone is
That thing's
40
ridiculous.
pounds.
That thing, it's so you're shot putting a
20 kilos.
20 kilo stone.
Yeah.
Holy
Whereas,
shit.
whereas an Olympic shot, most people pick up an Olympic shot put, which is 7.26 kg, and they go, shit, this is heavy. Well, how do you throw that? This thing's 3 times the weight of that.
How big?
Oh, it's probably,
So it's
yeah,
a fucking like a medicine ball type thing.
Yeah, it's huge.
Except it's a stone, yeah.
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 Fuck.
It's designed to injure humans.
And Craig won't tell you what, what's the best way to hold it or whatever else. And you keep coming back till you figure it out.
Yeah. Because I would
Do
kind
you get a
of.
practice throw? Or does
Well,
it just
you can get there early, but
Yeah.
remember you got 9 events coming up. You don't want to do too many practice throws. You get plenty of time.
There
out.
it
That's
is.
what I found. At Horrada,
Yep.
by the time we did the stones at the end, so the Atlas stones really, aren't they?
Yeah.
I was absolutely cooked. Like, I
Yep.
didn't know how I was going to get through them.
Yep.
And I remember Tim saying to me, he goes, all you have to do is finish and you've won. It doesn't matter if you come second last on it, just finish.
Yep. Because
I'd spent so long doing the weight over bar. And it's just like Tim was saying, everything adds up over the day. You have practice throws, it's going to add up. The thing about weight over bar, because people get eliminated. You get 3 goes at each height.
Oh.
And by the end of it, some people are out first round, second round, third. They've only done 3 throws, 5 throws. I've probably done 21 throws. You know, like it's
of max effort movements.
Yeah. So the time that the big stones in the end came, I was cooked.
Yep. The stones there, so they do it at Hororata. The stones are interesting because they're actually cut from Bundaroon granite. So the Bundaroon stones are the Australian Stone Lifting Championships in New South Wales. And there was two lots of stones, sets cut from the Bundaroon quarry. And David Huxley sent them over to New Zealand. So they're the sister stones to the Bundaroon stones. So they're done on barrels, but the barrels are set, I think, 15 metres apart or something like that. So you run the length of the footy field while doing the stones, between the 5 stones. So you got to move fast as well as obviously being strong enough to lift them. And
you're pretty happy once it's finished too.
Yeah. But it's pretty good. The crowd's great. The crowd's cheering the whole time. Yeah. And because somebody's holding each of the barrels, it's normally one of the other athletes, and they'll be sort of talking. You see, your adrenaline's up.
Oh, yeah.
But you're pretty gassed by the end of it. Yeah. You're ready for that VIP 10.
Yeah, and then you have to get drunk after that.
Yeah. Doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, I know. Well, so you always say, why don't you come back to powerlifting?
Yeah, fair. Very fair.
So the East Coast Games, the one that Craig runs down at Port Stephens, they have a ringed stone carry at the end of it, and it's not even counted as points. Like they've already announced the winners and whatever else. This is straight out for cash, and it's two stones. One's 105 and one's 130. They've got a ring on, the misshapen rings, and the stones are misshapen.
They call it a Dinny stone carry, don't they?
They're like a Dinny stone, yeah. But it's just for distance. You can put it down as many times as you want. And Craig holds a record of 30 metres. I've never seen anyone go over about 20. I've done it a couple of times, got about 14 or 15 metres, which is good. I've won it a couple of times.
Yeah.
But these things are a killer. You're rooted at the end of the day. You pick up, not everyone does it. And normally a couple of people from the crowd will come and have a go, and they'll just, they'll think they're all right until they can't move them.
Can't even get off the ground.
But then your hands are destroyed and everything else. And the story goes, because Craig got the record with it, the rumour is that Craig chucks him in the pool for a week beforehand. And who knows, but you ask him about it, go, oh, no, I wouldn't do that, but they're hard to get out. So who knows, But they're bloody heavy and awkward, and
Fuck, that would be a mission.
heaps of fun.
Yeah. It just sounds like good fun, doesn't it?
It really does.
Do you think you'd see comps in Brizzy or around here?
There should be one in Ipswich this year if all goes well with what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Which should be late May, I would think.
Yep.
And
Don't hold your breath.
But
Yeah.
if it happens,
It'd be awesome.
you can't come out and have a go. Because by the time what was it, about 3 p.m. rolled around last time, like pretty much nearly the whole event was watching.
Yep.
And that was for the weight over bar, which is right in front of the crowd. It was great.
Are you doing it?
This year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's on, I'll be doing it. Yeah.
Well, that's why I've been back in the gym. I'm hopefully...
Yeah, let's do
We
it.
got to do it.
Yeah. Well, come on.
When in May?
Yeah.
I got nothing on.
Anyone wants to do it is welcome to come to my place at Beer Burrum and have a throw. Like I back onto some forestry.
Yeah.
So you can come and have a go at all. I'm not a great thrower, but I can give you some basics. You can have a go at the implements at least.
Yes.
And decide if you like it or if you hate it. So
Is
the
there-
offer's always there if you want to come up.
Is the homebrew included?
I've got a fridge full of it at the moment, so you can come up and drink the homebrew.
Rum.
That means you'll need a spare bed as well.
We'll just sleep in the gym.
I'll sleep on the bench press.
Yeah. I've got a couch in the shed. You can all spoon on the couch.
Yes.
That a dog sits on.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's called spooning when you're spooning with Terry. I think it's just called Terry dominates you.
I can spoon you.
Could you though?
Hey,
Spoon the shit out of you.
I spooned you in States 2019. I've still got the photo.
did you?
Yeah,
there you go.
I'm going to find this photo.
Oh,
Anyways,
But yeah, so it's. I think next time there'll be because that was the first time was at Ipswich, and I think if it happens again, there'll be a much bigger crowd too.
Yeah.
Because the locals reacted to it quite well.
We didn't know what was going on at first, and once
Yep.
people worked it out, they started seeing it.
No, look, fuck you.
Yeah.
We'll get behind this.
A little bit of a tight throwing arena for the hammer. We're throwing the hammer, and the arena was a little bit narrow, and everyone was sort
there
of
you go.
there you
Spoon
go.
and Terry.
Well, yeah.
Your
Hope
leg.
the hammer doesn't get away and ended up in the crowd.
Yeah. Well, that was on your mind, as you're throwing there, going.
They did have to stop.
Yeah, I'm stopping the crowd, but people would go, no, I'm right, I'll go.
That was the first time I ever threw a hammer too.
Yeah.
And I was they kept when someone was in the trig ready to throw, they'd have to stop the spectators coming in, especially with like people like me. It was my first time I've ever put hands on a hammer.
You want to spray it into the crowd on the side.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah. Well, found our next event, Brando.
Yeah, this actually was something I'm definitely keen to try.
Well, we could have a crack before that anyway.
Road trip.
Like
A road trip, yeah.
I've done a strongman comp, so add this.
Well, I get to wear a kilt on men.
Oh yeah, do I need a kilt?
You will need a kilt.
Yeah, you'll need a kilt.
How do I find out what kilt I need?
Just if you got to jump on sports kilt.
Sports kilt?
Yeah, jump on sports kilt. You be able to find your tartan and whatever else. If you've got family history. If you don't have any family heritage, and just go to Spotlight and get your mum to make something up for you.
All right, Mum, you're up.
They have got on sports kilt. They have got just generic tartans, which aren't associated with clans.
Yeah.
So it's just a checker pattern, you know,
Oh, okay.
that you can get. So
This is so cool.
yeah.
So, man, that'd be pretty frowned upon to start rocking someone else's family kilt when you're
No, not really. No, not at all.
Would
Oh,
you
well,
accept me into your clan, Terry?
no, I don't care.
I thought there was going to be a bit more behind that, but that's okay.
But yeah. So yeah, that's right. You can get them from anywhere there, mate. So
I mean, go down your local Vinnies. They might have
right.
some sitting there. You know, you don't know. Just have a look around. Make some up. I mean, they're only $100 or something from sports kilt.
Yeah,
You know,
this-
they're
yeah,
not
this is
expensive.
about- this is
I mean,
about $100.
they're not dirt cheap,
yeah,
but they're not.
Yeah. Well, there's a guy. I was speaking to. There's a guy called Kurt Livens. He's actually the guy who came up to Ipswich and won it.
right.
He pipped me by a couple of points. And I was talking to him about his kilt, and I said, "What kilt is that?" He's like, "I don't know. I'm Lithuanian. My family's Lithuanian. I don't have a clue."
Fucking yes.
Big boys too, mate. Like I remember rocking up to Ipswich for the first time, and you know I've been hanging around powerlifters the weekend before. One thing I noticed about powerlifters, they're a lot shorter but wider, and I just noticed a lot of very tall, big people. Like Tim's bigger, taller, and bigger than me, and
I don't think
I think
we're
Kurt
heavy enough
is.
yet, Johnny.
I think Kurt's bigger than me. He's,
Got to eat more, bro.
We've got to get a lot heavier if we do this.
you know, big Lance Holland Keen's a big, really big guy.
Yeah. John Mcfarlane, was he there when you threw it?
Yeah, he was competing there.
Strongman.
Yeah, he's really big, tall, not just string bean, like they're big guys, you know.
A big guy, Craig Manson, who is a New Zealand champion. He's everyone thinks of him as little Craig. You know, he looks young in his face and everything else, but he's over 6 foot and 120 kilos. You forget he's still a big guy. You know?
Yeah. I just remember walking up and I said, and Melanie came about 20 minutes later. I said, "These guys are enormous."
Fuck yeah. Oh, sorry. That's insane. We need to do this.
Yeah,
but we definitely need to get a lot heavier.
So you know what I'll convince you? The background of the original story of why they started throwing Highland Games is, you know, the whole William Wallace thing and the English took over Scotland or whatever. Is the English took all their weapons off them, so they dominated them. So the Scots learned to throw and attack using farm implements effectively.
Yep.
Yeah, throwing stones and pitchforks and, you know, turning cabers and whatever else in order to arm themselves against the English. So it's actually got, when you know that, it's even got a cooler backstory as to why you do it, you know?
Yeah, and then further on, I'm pretty sure the clan chiefs, if they're having an issue with each other, they would get their biggest, strongest guy to compete against that clan's biggest, strongest guy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's great. That's the way I think should be settled, I think.
Just see, we all just send Terry into every battle we
No,
have.
We'll send Terry in.
no courtrooms, mate. Just throw heavy stuff.
Fuck yeah.
I'm
And drink whiskey afterwards to celebrate.
Yeah.
Terry will be our tribute.
Terry, is it? Look at him. That's the other topic we haven't discussed. What? How manly is Terry? On a scale, I rate men's toughness, manliness on 1 to Terry.
1 to 100 Terry.
I don't know. I don't get it. We had this discussion at the Brecky Creek the other night. I don't try and be
Okay,
manly.
we had this discussion while he's got 2 fucking beers in front of him and the biggest steak you could see in all these sides that he's taken off everyone else. I wonder why, Terry.
I love it.
I don't try to be. It's just...
I don't try to be, I just am a fucking man.
You got a beard, mate. I've got a beard. That's pretty manly.
You could have one if you wanted.
You got like the starting of one.
Yeah, it's not very good. It doesn't grow out very
I
well.
also don't have the voice. It's the voice that sells it. I'm Terry Sparks.
So
He doesn't choose manliness. Manliness thrust upon him.
Yeah.
All right, boys, you got new 10 questions. Are you ready? Who's going first?
Terry.
Terry. Beautiful. What makes you unique?
I'm Terry Sparks.
Manliness.
Yeah.
Yeah, manliness. No, I think I think it's because I'm old school in a new world, mate. That's what it is.
Love
That
it.
is a fucking great answer, though. Oh, well done.
What makes me unique? I don't know. I'm just a willingness to have a go at different sports and whatever else. You know, I think that makes me unique. Is that I don't need to be an athlete like Terry. Terry's drinking all my bloody beer. Look at
I was just about to That's what makes Terry unique.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
ability to sing.
No, I think I'm willing to have a go. You know.
There's another tall over there, isn't
Yeah, there's plenty more.
Oh yeah, Terry's like, don't worry.
So yeah, that's my answer.
Nice. Who are some special people in your life? Terry.
it? Oh, my immediate family, kids and wife. Number one, always.
Lovely.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same. You know, my wife and 3 kids are the most important thing by far in my life.
What's something you're most proud of, Terry?
More than anything is my same again, my wife and kids, especially my kids' resilience. You know, they especially like my eldest daughter, she goes through a lot. She gets bullied a lot at school and that sort of thing, and she pulls through. And she recently had her arm broken at school by, well, you know, I probably shouldn't go into this too much, but just the way she pulls through. She's a very soft, kind-natured girl. She's the sort of girl that just sort of hangs around the library all day and that sort of thing. And you know, she still wakes up with a smile every day. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Holding back cheers after that one, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
Fucking hell.
I wish I'd gone first because I sound like I'm copying Terry with everything now. But yeah, I mean, my family, you know, and my kids are willing to have a go as well for the most part. You know, they play sport and music and whatever else, do well at school and stuff. I'm proud that I can support that, you know.
Yeah. What movie star would you be in what movie, Terry?
What movie star would I be?
Yeah, who would you be in any movie?
Leo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street. That was pretty good.
Yes.
So I've just gone from being a family man to a piece of shit. Trying to 2 questions.
Mr. Tim.
I've got no idea, to be honest. I reckon one of the old school, like Spartacus or something like that, one of the old school epics, you know,
Yes.
Imagine being Clint Eastwood in
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
in like Fistful of Dollars or whatever it's called.
There,
or,
no,
or
there,
the
no,
good,
no,
the
no.
bad, and the ugly.
I'm going to be Chuck Norris.
Oh,
Chuck Norris in the Walker Texas Ranger.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, I wish I could answer that again.
You can't. We can't. hold
You've
Chuck.
been a tough guy. I've just been a coke addict.
What's your most used emoji, Terry?
Oh, you know the sideways laughing emoji. It used to be the straight one, but
There
it's got a
you
bit
go,
cheesy
sideways.
now. It's the sideways one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
I do the straight laughing emoji, but the thumbs up is probably the one that's the most insulting that I use all the time when I want to end a conversation.
You know, it is an insult now. Apparently, people.
Yeah,
get
I know.
offended by it.
But I'm in my 40s, so nobody cares if I insult them because I'm just an old guy.
Yeah, they go, okay, boomer.
Yeah, exactly.
I would also like just to add that Terry's favourite emoji to myself is the eggplant.
Yes. Lovely. Favourite dinosaur as a kid, Terry?
I think every kid's would be the T-Rex. Yeah.
Mr. Tim?
Now,
Stegosaurus, I reckon.
Ooh.
that's a plant eater, isn't it?
He's a plant eater, yeah.
Yeah.
Plant-based diet, but still performed.
Well, that didn't go well, did it?
How's your T-Rex going?
No, I mean the plant diet.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Oh, dear. If you could find out how and when you die, Terry, you up for it?
No, not at all. Imagine the dread in the last, coming up to it. No way.
Yeah, I'm the same. I wouldn't want to know.
What age do you feel right now?
He's sunk a few beers, so he probably feels a bit younger.
Yeah, the inflammation's coming up a bit. Physically, 55. Mentally, 21.
I still feel young, you know. I still
How old are you, sorry?
42.
Yeah, right.
42. So I still feel like I'm in my 20s until I talk to somebody who's 18. And I'm like, holy shit, no, it's all right, I'm 42.
What was your first pet growing up?
Pet that mattered.
Yeah.
We had a little. It was interesting. We had a little dog, and he was a Chihuahua crossed with a Whippet.
Whoa.
So you know how
There's a little
petite.
rat running around there.
Do you know how petite Whippets are as they are? But it was like half of that again.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
He was so awesome. His name was Dinkum. It was all.
As in fair dinkum.
Yeah.
I had a little peach-faced bird called Chirpy. It's not as exciting as Dinkum the dog.
We did have ones before that with our cats. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What's the best thing that happened to you last week, Terry?
Last week.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know what happened yesterday.
You squatted, remember?
I did, yeah,
triggered.
actually, yeah. The 230 for 10 without a bell.
That was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice to spot. I felt useless.
No, it was good because I haven't really hit anything good since the time I squatted last year, the big squat.
Oh, that time you squatted 360
Yeah.
when you finally let me wrap you.
But the back end of last year, you know, I had some health problems and that sort of thing, which I've still got, and so rather than going to the gym and that sort of thing, I just drank a lot of piss and all that sort of thing, and just got off the wagon a bit. But in the last 6 or 7 weeks, I've been putting things back together and squatting back to back, and it was good to actually hit an AMRAP set, which was actually a PR. So
Come back to powerlifting.
nah, you got to bench press and powerlifting.
Should be bench pressing and throwing.
Yeah.
Mr. Tim.
Um,
Best thing that happened to you last week.
well, the best thing that happened to me yesterday is on a whim I decided to teach myself how to juggle.
Oh, I saw that. That was amazing.
Yeah. So
How many balls can you juggle?
I sort of juggle 3 of them. But I got through. I started from starting with one. I found a YouTube video, and I was rudimentally juggling 3 by 20 minutes later. So I was pretty pleased with that. So that's my goal now, is to be able to do that well.
Yeah,
That's the
nice.
best thing that happened to me last week.
You could have a multi-event games at your house. You could have the darts. I saw you
I've got
playing darts.
Yeah, I've got darts there.
And you win the juggling, obviously, and then
Yeah,
get
yeah.
out the back and have the weight over bar.
There's plenty of cycling at the back, plenty of mountain biking at the back there. Yeah.
Sounds like CrossFit,
The-
but
the
way
mo-
more fun.
The motocross events out there.
I have one question, just because you two probably know Luke Polly the greatest, or the most, but what's one just like roast story or even hilarious story, memory of Polly?
Oh, okay, straight up. That's easy. A lot of people don't know about Polly, like we do, because we're close friends with him.
Yeah.
But what did this come into your head anyway?
Because I love just roasting Polly, and as much as we respect the bloke, he's got some crackers.
Oh, he's been a great mate of mine for years. He's got OCD, simple as that. And when I say OCD, it's not. I don't know what he's like at home, but in the gym, things have to be in the right place, set out properly, and that sort of thing. So I used to do things just to trigger him, like I'd put the weights on. You know, inside your weights on the first ones you put on should be inside out.
Yeah.
I'd put them on the other way, and just wait till he'd walk past, and he'd never miss it. He'd go, "You got them on the wrong way." I'm like, "Oh damn, me too." You go, put them around. You know, he gets sometimes. I'm like, nah, or like one of the things he does too. Like if you're wearing a soft suit, it's always got to be straight. You see him do his shirt and all that. I'd like just twist the strap up a bit, and like he'll come up. You know, you go to get under the boat. He'll go, "Hang on a minute," and he'll straighten it up for you and get it all right. And then we get under the boat.
That's great.
That's amazing. Really, he's just being helpful.
Yeah, he is.
I love that. Oh my god.
I guess if you had that real OCD about you, powerlifting's the right space.
Yeah.
Because you can really, okay, this is what I need to do. You know, I need to do X percentage of this, I need X percentage of that, and that'll get me this result at the end.
I used to try and do things mentally in my training the opposite of that.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't know what music you're going to get on the day. You don't know how things are going to go. Like I used to wear different coloured socks and shit all the time. Like just I'll do it to Kevy too. I tell Kevy,
Does Polly know you used to do this shit on purpose?
I don't know.
He does now. This is amazing. So good. Fuck, lads, thank you so much for giving up your Saturday afternoon. Tim, thanks for the homebrew. Pleasure. That was delicious.
Looks like we're doing Highland Games.
Fuck. We're all doing Highland Games, by the way. Not you. You get injured very easily. It's a good point.
He's brutal.
For if people want to reach out, find out more about the Highland Games, where can they find you, Tim?
Well, if they find me at Instagram's the best place, just Tim O'Shea, Tim_O'Shea. But if anyone wants to have a crack, if they're in southeast Queensland, they come to my place at Beerburrow and have a throw out in the forest.
Sounds like a great
Yeah,
Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. Like he literally is on a beautiful pine. Is it a pine forest?
yeah,
Yeah, it's a pine
plantation,
forest, and it's his front yard's awesome. His front yard is overlooking the mountains, the glasshouse mountain. What's the mountain right at the front there?
Or Tibro's over there,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable. Like I'm envious of where he lives.
Yeah, right. And Terry, where can people find you?
I'm pretty hard to find.
You are.
No, Little Terry on Instagram. That's with the triple T because somebody else stole the double T.
Fuckers.
Yeah.
Do you know who it is?
No, but
Yeah, Little
seriously. It's probably like a dwarf or something. But
Make sure you tag the other Little Terry and all this Terry stuff.
but I don't post that much. I probably should post a little bit more. But as far as Highland Games, I think who the boys that come up, it's Highland Muscle, hey?
Yeah, Highland Muscle. You want to really get involved with them as far as liking their page on Facebook and stuff, and they'll keep you in the loop as far as when they do a series of novice events called the Backyard Highland Games series down in New South Wales. And so if you're down that way and you want to get involved, they're the guys to get involved with. Get on with those guys. And the other bigger games, Craig's East Coast Highland Games has got its own Facebook page, and
Because that's different. That's not affiliated with any sort of federation or
no.
anything.
And then Josh Plant is doing some stuff down in Victoria with the Chuck and Big page, which has got some of the Victorian games. He sort of talks about them and stuff like that. Yeah, that's probably a good one to get involved with.
I'll chuck that all up in the show notes.
Yeah.
Lads, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Woo!